don't read the newspapers because they all have ugly prints.
All right, we are back in the bunker. We're back in the bunker. Welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Hat. And I'm super excited about having this guy on. He did the original one, and now he's on the fifth one. And I'm super excited. Please welcome Eddie Bravo.
Thank you for having me.
Eddie, welcome, man. A lot of great stuff going on. I mean, just that podcast you were on, you hit me up. You're like, let's talk about it. And I'm super excited. I listened to most of it. It is a long podcast. We're talking about JRE 9/11, which it was so good. You, Rogan, of course, and then Alex Jones. Wow, man. A great thing to be a part of, huh?
Yeah, I was definitely not needed in that podcast. I mean, the amount of information Alex Jones has in his head.
Yes.
I was definitely not needed. I asked Jago, please, let me be on. And wasn't planning on drinking or anything. You know, that I think maybe 3 Fight Companions ago, I got really, really drunk. And I just when I get drunk, man,
It sounds like Szechuan.
I'm annoying when I'm not drunk.
Yeah.
And then when you get drunk, imagine an annoying person.
Well, that's
drunk.
a big reason why I don't really drink anymore. It's because it was getting crazy, and I just enjoy getting weird. But I understand that feelings kind of before we started the podcast. I was telling you I was on the End of the World podcast, and if you watch that podcast, first of all, everyone thinks I'm gacked out of my mind on blow, which I'm not. And second of all, I was like, for the first half an hour I'm on that thing, I don't even talk because I'm more like, what am I doing here? This is so great because it's like 3 out of the 4 of my favorite comics, Bill Burr, Rogan, and Stanhope are all on stage at the same time. So it's just kind of fun sitting there. But I want to say with the JRE, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it, is I thought it was one of the best discussions and the most credible discussions on the whole Pizzagate conversation.
Yeah.
I felt like it was like we're really getting into it. Now, he starts, as you go deeper in, there's that great meme that's going on. I was like, Joe, I can't tell you about anything. Take a puff. The world's ran by interdimensional pedophiles. But I thought it was very credible about what was going on. And the whole discussion of it was just, I mean, Rogan is such a great authority to a lot of people. They very much trust what he has to say. For him to take the stance they did, I thought was amazing.
Yeah, it was very, in my eyes, it was a very important podcast. I mean, that was the 911th podcast. You know, Alex Jones could have easily been on the first 10. You know, but it took him that long to get on. You know what I mean? And then it's perfect timing.
Yes.
Perfect timing because most of Joe Rogan's followers, they don't know. All they know about Alex Jones is what they hear from the mainstream media. He's crazy, he's wacky, and they just cut him up and make him seem like a loon.
Yes.
And why would they do that? Why would they go out of the way to do that? But most people still think it, and there's no way you're going to get them to think that they've been fooled or honey-dicked into thinking that. And
that's a big thing that the media does. The media isn't really trying to give you information. They're just trying to plant seeds of doubt of stuff they don't want you to listen to. And even if it comes back, you're like, that's not true. It doesn't matter. They're not trying to convince everyone. They just want to see how many people they can give misinformation to.
Yeah, the news isn't out there to help people. It
Not
isn't
at all.
Run by the people for the people. It isn't like that at all. Think about when radio was first invented. Who do you think had that fucking technology? The people running everything are the only ones that had that technology. And then whatever they said, from day one, radio was used for propaganda.
Yeah.
From day one.
Yes.
It wasn't like, radio's invented. Anybody could just go to a Radio Shack in 1910 or whenever it was invented. It was the people running shit.
Yes.
So do you think from day one, radio was all about programming from day one? Same thing with movies. When they invented movies, who do you think? You think like the average guy down the street was making movies?
No.
The only people that
Power
were making
players.
movies were all the powerful people.
The power elite were making them very much. And it's kind of like my whole theory on when you see either a prank video or any of these stuff, like the truth is that your average person is a very nice person, and we are trained to trust and love and believe. And so when you see somebody get pranked in a video, they just got a person who's a very trusting person. The same thing gets done in a weird way prank videos do, the propaganda does, in that they take trusting people and they give them information, and the people are like, why wouldn't I want to believe this person? We're all on the same team. We are all, it's all America. We're all Americans, and the top is just as, the bottom people are just as important as the top people, and the people at the top, we're all one team, and we're all working together to be the best country out there. When in my opinion is, and I thought this was a great part about the CIA you guys discussed, is like, not all of them are evil or have alternative motives. There are some people, just like in Washington, D.C., that really go there to make change and really want to make change. Like that guy, that senator who cross-examines Hillary Clinton, or did cross-examine Hillary Clinton all the time on Benghazi. I guarantee you he's not part of the bigger scheme going on, that he actually gives a shit. And when you look at what's going on with the whole Benghazi thing in terms of the emails, that's not just about emails. That there's actually some crazier shit going on with Benghazi, and then that guy who was in that U.S. Not assembly, he was in the ambassador who was in that building that got taken under siege, knew a lot of shit that was going on over there.
Yeah.
In particular, he knew that we might be training ISIS, we might be giving them weapons. And there is a thing that we gave them chemical weapons. There's the discussion of that. And he's one of a few people that knew that. And if he is no longer around, dead man can't tell tales.
Yeah. That 9/11 podcast, again, I was definitely not needed in that one, man.
But it was perfect that you were on there.
Yeah. For me, I was on there for selfish reasons. And I'll admit that. I really was. I'm not a conspiracy theorist who's making money off conspiracy theories.
Yes.
I'm not. I walked away from my podcast. I could be having a podcast right now. I don't want to be the conspiracy guy. I said this on the podcast too. I don't. I'm just trying to wake people up. You know why? Because my family's affected by people being brainwashed. You know what I mean? If I'm working for some corporation,
right,
and I know the people at the top are doing some super shady shit and fucking their employees, well, but they're getting the employees to believe that they're not, and whatever the agenda is, they got them believing it. And I mean, this is going to affect me, so I'm going to say something. Now, if it was another corporation and they're the owner of those corporations were shitting on their people, I wouldn't give a fuck. That doesn't affect me. I shut my. Why am I going to go fight for them?
Yeah.
But we're talking about the USA. And there's a serious brainwash campaign that's been going on. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but remember, it was basically proven. It was proven on Joe Rogan's podcast. The country is being run generally by enough pedophiles into Satanist shit.
Yes.
That's funding terrorists. That's creating terrorists, and that's bringing in drugs. They're bringing in the drugs. They're bringing in more drugs than any cartels. The cartels are just a distraction.
Yes.
And then they bust them every now and then.
Yes.
And look, we busted a cartel. Meanwhile, they're bringing in the drugs. They're creating the terrorism. They're funding it. They're getting all these guys crazy, giving them American weapons. And they kidnap kids.
Yes.
They torture them.
Yes.
And this is a big thing. It's not a small thing. It isn't a couple isolated cases. A couple people getting busted here and there. But what we're finding out now...
400 people. You guys talked about 450 people in California just got busted for kiddie porn.
Yeah, this is stuff that was on the podcast. We're talking about this podcast that was changed the world. That podcast changed the world. What Alex Jones was... People... the mainstream media is so goddamn powerful. They got a lot of smart people thinking that Alex Jones and InfoWars is fake news when it's just the opposite. So you got a lot of smart-ass people out there, college degrees, super smart, and they think they're convinced InfoWars is fake news. Now, don't get me wrong. Alex Jones is nutty, and he's a fucking wild man, and he's crazy, but so am I.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean, who isn't? He's just a regular person.
Right.
And he says a lot of crazy shit, and he's not right about everything. He's not. He's just a regular dude who knows a lot of shit about how
Nobody bats
Washington, D.C.
1,000.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just,
Greatest
ignore
baseball player in the history of baseball. His greatest thing, he batted 400.
Yeah, exactly. So that podcast was, man.
It was a
really,
game changer.
I think that
I texted
podcast, I think
Rogan.
Alex Jones being on that Joe Rogan podcast changed the world a little bit, Just a
I
little
think
bit. Think
people
about that.
opened their eyes to it. And
Yeah.
as soon as that podcast came out, all the stories about imminent arrests in the Pizzagate stuff started coming out.
Yeah.
And Aaron doesn't want to believe it because, one, he loves pizza and he doesn't want to ruin it. And we had a discussion today because Alex Jones loves to do these videos on the corner of streets. It's so he picks a street corner and he just films videos, and he was talking about, he went off on Lady Gaga and how she is she's part of this whole satanic cult thing, and she runs around with that woman who's an artist, Maria, I forget what her name is. Someone said it on the podcast today.
That chick who's into spirit cooking
Yes.
for the elite.
Yeah. She's like a 70-year-old who looks 40.
Yeah.
She's smoking hot. She's probably the hottest 70-year-old.
And she's 70?
Yes.
And she looks 40?
She looks 40.
Whoa.
I mean, dude, she's smoking hot for 70.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's you know what? It seems like, remember, all this was basically confirmed on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yes.
Joe Rogan, he's a skeptic. He's not a conspiracy theorist. Used to be, not anymore. But he was right there. And not only did Alex Jones awaken millions of people, millions of Joe Rogan's fans, but I think he reawakened Joe too. Right? Based on that podcast, Joe wasn't arguing with him. When Alex went off on the interdimensional type stuff, yeah, he was kind of losing me, to tell you the truth, when I was sitting there. But
she's 70.
that's incredible.
She's 70, dude.
Something about baby blood. Something about baby blood. The Rockefellers or David, they lived into their 90s on average.
Yeah.
David Rockefeller's he might be 100 and had 7 heart transplants.
Yeah, he's on his 7th heart.
George Singer, 92.
They all live forever. I mean, but the Rockefellers look horrible, dude. Have you
Yeah,
seen that guy? He
but
looks
they're
like
alive.
the Crypt Keeper.
But they're alive. So does George Singer. He
Yeah.
looks like he has that permanent smile on his face.
And then Ciros doesn't look good either. That guy's in there too.
Yeah.
It's a battle of elite, but
But they got something. There's something, and there's something about baby blood.
yeah. Yeah.
They believe. I mean, this is going on, and there's a reason it's going on.
Yes.
If you were at the top and you had $1 trillion, maybe you were just a superstar. You had a comedy show and it fucking blew up, and you were hanging out with super fucking star. I mean, the super elite.
Yeah.
And they said, listen, if you fucking drink baby blood once a year, it's going to add 25 years to your life, and it's going to keep your face looking beautiful.
Yeah.
You might say, hell no, right there, but once you start hitting 60 and shit, you might think, damn, are these babies, are they alive? Or what? You'd start asking questions if you were a psychopath.
Well, they had a big, this artist did a big event in L.A., and it was supposed to be private, but people took pictures there. Will Ferrell, Lady Gaga, they're all there, man. And, it's always that thing.
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell, there's pictures of him in an all-white suit at this event. And it's Joe Rogan used to have a bit about Hugh Hefner, about how he everyone says he's gay, and it's guys are hey, man, you fuck enough chicks, you start getting bored, and it's,
Yeah.
I think when it comes to money and power and passion, I believe anything's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that the notion that eating kids or fucking kids is so out of the realm, when you think these people openly bomb children in other countries, not even thinking twice about it, oh, hey, Obama, this might be, this could be ISIS or it could be a wedding. We don't know. Bomb, and they just not even think twice about it. I love how he said that Obama, one of my favorite is that Obama's bisexual.
Yeah.
Obama goes both ways.
Well, there's a guy on the internet, and he was at the he was in Washington, D.C., at a press conference. This guy, gay guy, he's claiming that when Obama was a senator, that they met. Like this guy's
Well,
talking.
wasn't it a hairstylist or something like that?
I don't know if he was a hairstylist, but he's talking about how he ended up in Chicago in a cab, and he asked the cab if he knew where he can get some like crack or something, and then he hooked him up with Obama. Obama gave him crack, and he sucked Obama's dick. That's what this guy's saying on YouTube. I mean, it could be total bullshit. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Can you Google that? Google.
Okay, Obama sold crack. I love it. Oh.
Obama gets blowjob and does crack on YouTube.
And does crack. I mean, dude, it's so
Did it come up?
interesting about how
Did it come
I
up?
gave Obama a blowjob while he was smoking crack. Here we go.
Did it come up?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. Let's listen to that. Play that again. This is on YouTube. What's this guy's name? That's claiming
Cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois.
Damn.
Damn.
Come on,
dude.
that's on YouTube. How many hits does that have?
That's only got 9,000. This
9,000?
That's it.
Oh shit.
Oh, well, here's.
Is there
Personal
another one?
thank you to Reverend Pastor James David Manning
This is
for
the
showing
fuller
up,
one.
for his support. Thank you so much for being here. It means a great deal. Good afternoon. My name is Larry Sinclair. I'm a former recreational drug user, drug trafficker, and I'm a convicted felon for crimes of forgery, bad checks, and theft by check. But I'm also an American citizen. I love this country, and I cannot stay silent regarding Barack Obama, knowing what I know. Today, I will discharge my obligation as a citizen to witness this knowledge to you and raise questions for others to investigate and consider.
And no one did.
I'm going to briefly describe my background and experiences with Senator Obama. In 1999, what appears to me to be a coordinated effort to discredit me, and finally a list of questions. After this brief statement, I will take and try to answer any reasonable questions. My background: I'm 46 years old and I currently reside in Duluth, Minnesota. I am a U.S. citizen. I've made mistakes in my lifetime. I have been convicted and served prison sentences for writing bad checks, forging checks, using stolen credit card numbers. In the Arizona
I'm gonna jump in.
Fremont County District Court, Canyon City, Colorado, and the call was made to then Illinois State Senator Barack Obama to set up an introduction between myself and Senator Obama. Upon arriving at the bar and exiting the limo, Senator Obama was standing next to Mr. Mutani, and I was introduced to Senator Obama by name. Later that evening in a bar which I believe was called Alibis, and I state believe because I have failed so far to get Citigroup to provide the credit card receipts that has the actual name. I mentioned I could use a line or two to wake up. Senator Obama asked me if I was referring to Coke, and I stated I was. After stating I was, Obama stated he could purchase cocaine for me and then made a telephone call. This too is significant, from a cell phone to a presently unknown individual, during which Senator Obama arranged the cocaine purchase. Senator Obama and I then departed the bar in my limousine and proceeded to an unknown location where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me.
That's a lot
Returned
of
a
coke,
short
man.
while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois. The following day, November 7th,
God. What's his name? Ex-lover.
He could be totally full of shit, though.
Yeah, he could be totally full of shit because the guy's running. Obviously, somebody's running it, but I wouldn't doubt it, dude. I would not, but what's the point of that? It's like, okay, you smoke crack and you suck down Obama's dick. I don't really care. I think Obama's in the weird shit. I think when you get that high, you're in the weird shit. Hey, dude, smoking crack and getting your dick sucked in a limo isn't even close to the spirit cooking shit. But Obama is that power elite guy. And he got, it's like in college they believed he was part of the whole, there's these weird like college programs where they get like certain kids and they work with the CIA.
Yeah.
And it's like Anderson Cooper was part of this group.
Yep.
And Obama was one of them.
Yep.
And he was like this.
His mom was in the CIA.
Obama's
mom
was in the CIA.
Yeah, Alex Jones talked about that on the podcast.
Really?
Yep. I knew that too. I'd looked into that.
Well, we had somebody on the podcast 2 weeks ago, my friend Dan, and he was talking about how Obama's real dad might be this guy who was a socialist pornographer, and that they would never want that guy to be associated with the Obama because his mom might have been a CIA person, and that they forged the whole thing, and that was all bullshit. They showed the pictures of who they thought Obama's real dad was, and it didn't look too much like him, in my opinion. But that's just such a.
What was his name? His name is it's just a regular American name. I forget it.
It's something. Hold on.
Frank.
Something.
Frank something.
Yeah. It's like some weird shit. Obama's real dad.
Yeah, it's Frank something. Frank S.
Yeah, it's
Frank Davis.
Barack Obama. Oh yeah, it's right here.
Something Davis.
This is who they think is his real dad.
What's his name?
My dreams. No, they don't say. It doesn't say. Fuck. It's so yeah.
No, it's gotta say just Obama's real. What's Obama's real dad's name? Something.
Peter. No, let's see. Who is it?
Something
Obama's
Davis.
real dad's name. Where does it say? It doesn't say. Barry something. Barry.
No, that's his name. Barry Soetoro. That's one of Barack's other names. He went by Barry Soetoro. Isn't that weird? That the president of the United States went by Barry Soetoro, and then all of a sudden he's Barack Obama.
Okay. Oh, lower left. Here it is.
Something Davis.
Frank Marshall
Davis. There it is. Frank Marshall Davis. So check this out. Alex Jones explained this. So you know how Trump was going after Barack because he was saying he was really born in Kenya. He's not even from the United States. And there's this whole big thing. This is an example of how they throw everybody off. They made conspiracy theorists, they sent them on a wild goose chase. They made conspiracy theorists think that Barack Obama was really born in Kenya when he wasn't born in Kenya, and his dad's not even really Kenyan.
That's
he was
what
born
this guy.
Yeah, Frank Marshall Davis is his real dad, and he's the communist in Hawaii. So to get you way away from that, let's say that not only is he whatever Barack Obama's other dad is,
Right.
We'll say that let's create a controversy with whether he was born in Kenya or not when he's not even Kenyan.
So they basically fight a conspiracy with a conspiracy.
Yes, they created that conspiracy. So Obama's all going, my birth certificate, and then they hide the birth certificate, hide it, make it seem like you're trying to hide the fact that you're from Kenya. And all of a sudden his name is Barack Obama. That's Kenyan as fuck. What do they do to separate him? What do they do to separate him from Frank Marshall Davis? Give him a Kenyan father, and then give him a Kenyan name.
And then he's
Right?
also got Kenyan grandma that plays the game. Didn't he meet his Kenyan grandma too?
Barack. Yeah. So that, according to Alex Jones, that's all fake. They just wanted to get you far away from what was going on in Hawaii. So they created a conspiracy theorist, had all these conspiracy theorists going, look, he was actually born in Kenya. He even admitted it, because they kind of sort of admitted, because Michelle Obama would say in a speech, like, so me and my husband, we went back to his homeland and did this and did that. And they go, wait a minute, see, he was born in Kenya because they just said they went back to the homeland, it's kind of like foggy, like what does it really mean? So they had, that's how some conspiracy theories are just setting people on wild goose chases.
Get you off the scent.
That's what I think. I think UFOs are. I think a lot of UFOs.
You don't believe in UFOs.
I don't know.
I heard you
I don't
talking
know.
on that. You
I
don't
don't
think
know.
they're real.
I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I believe anything's possible.
Anything is possible. but
Interdimensional,
I-
ghosts.
yes. Yes.
I mean, like, I think there's so much crazy shit going on that they don't want us to focus on.
there's some levels, man.
Dude,
there's
there's
levels.
dimensions.
Yeah, and you know, conspiracy theorists, they're all, especially conspiracy theorists that are trying to make money and they're like low level and they're trying to come up. They are so. What happens is everyone's smart. It's just everyone's smart, and then at one time or another, you're gonna be awoken. It's going to be some conspiracy theory, some documentary that you saw. And it's not really that you're fully awake. That's one documentary. You're partially awake. You're still asleep until you find out not all of them, but once you start to realize that shit, most of these conspiracy theories are probably real because it isn't just one. So what ends up happening is someone is awoken. Or awaken, which is the right one?
I
Someone
think
is
you're
awoken,
awoke.
And they get all into 9/11.
Yes.
They get all into it.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that it's so much deeper. 9/11's huge.
Yes.
That's like right there in the center
And
of
it's
all of them.
crazy.
But there's so much shit that goes along with that. And there's so many other ways the elite are fucking with us, not just 9/11 style, not just war in the Middle East style and what that brings for them or what that gets them, but like big pharma, all that
Yes.
shit. Chemtrails, which was on the podcast, proven again. Alex Jones throwing down the knowledge on chemtrails. People think it's the crazy thing is they think that's the crazy one. Like chemtrails, like, oh my God, that's the crazy one.
What for people who didn't get that far into the podcast, what was basically discussed about that?
Well, Alex Jones is known about all the secret aerosol programs that have
The
been going on
seeding.
forever.
The
Yes.
seeding,
It's not-
weaponry, weaponizing weather.
There's a lot of shit going on. They're doing a lot of shit. They're doing a lot of experiments, and they're not telling anybody about it.
Did you ever hear that they use chemtrails and pesticides in food to make men very feminine? Have you heard that forever? And you kind of look around and all the boys are prancing.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. But back to my point is that there's so many goddamn conspiracies that if you spend all your time on just this one or two or three, and there's so many others, and you talk to this other conspiracy theorist, or another conspiracy theorist is making money on some show, and he's focusing on something else, and he kind of just ignores yours shit, and you
Yeah.
try to bring up yours maybe,
Yeah.
and they're ignoring it.
Yes.
Like, shill, that guy's a shill. He's not bringing up my conspiracy theory. He's only talking about his.
Yeah.
And conspiracy theories are they're just theories, and people have different theories of what is going on and how it's going on. Some people have some conspiracy theories have some similarities. Some are just like full high level, don't believe anything.
Yes.
Don't believe in anything. The way I look at it really, the way is if I need to rely on some unknown scientist, if I got to take his word for something and I can't verify it for myself, then I'm not gonna buy it. And I need to see proof. I need there's a lot of conspiracy theories where things don't exist. Like, the moon don't exist. Nuclear nuclear bombs don't exist. This doesn't exist. Forests don't exist. Dinosaurs never exist. All this shit. You would think there's just a whole shitload, but really, compared to everything that's out there, there's really not that many conspiracy theories. There's really not that many. There might be 25.
Go on, finish that.
But there isn't a conspiracy that aircraft carrier, like if someone said aircraft carriers don't exist, go, no, I don't need an unknown scientist to confirm that for me. I know they exist. I know killer whales exist. I don't need an unknown scientist with some unknown experiment to convince me that exists. Most shit, you don't need scientists. Most shit. There's so much shit out there. Most shit, you've seen it. You don't need like skyscrapers. I know they exist. I see them.
Right.
They're there.
Right.
But anything that you have to take some unknown government scientist's word for, I have questions, and I'm super skeptical.
It's very interesting because when I was a kid, I remember being at like a fundraiser for a school, and one of the fundraisers they were doing lottery. They were doing like a lottery, and a guy walks up, and they're like, "Hey, would you like to, join the lottery and try to win?" And he goes, "We don't believe in that stuff." And I go, as a kid, I go, "What do you mean you don't believe in it? It's right there. You could touch it. Here's the lottery ticket. It's a raffle. You may not be into it. What do you believe?" And it's very interesting that some people want to believe some stuff, some people want to believe that stuff, and a lot of it goes down to your narrative. What is your narrative? What do you believe in? And then if it fits your narrative, it's not a conspiracy. It is like, blown up fact that fucking finally got out. If it doesn't fit your narrative, you are just like, no, that's just conspiracy and you're being crazy. A great example is this election. So the Bernie people, which I was one of them, we openly watch the primary, and it's all bullshit, right? But this is where the bullshit comes in. The primary being manipulated for Hillary. Everyone cries, blah, blah, blah. The Hillary people cry, conspiracy. You're just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. Then the emails come out. They were rigging it, and they were manipulating the NDA. 6 people, high-ranking people in the DNC quit, okay? So then it comes out. The election happens. Boom. The Hillary people start believing in Russian hacking. That manipulated it. And then we're like, oh, this is bullshit. But what about spirit cooking? Oh, that's conspiracy. Oh, what about getting peed on by Russians? That's real. And it just, whatever fit your narrative is what you believe in. When I believe it's all possible. Anything is possible. Up to almost, the one conspiracy that seems to be everyone going, I don't know, is flat earth. That seems to be the one where I don't care how much you're into conspiracy theories, is the one where you see people kind of go, oh, I don't know if that's real or not.
Yes.
Because that is so out there.
That's the craziest one. That's the crazy. You know what?
Out of all of them.
You know, my flat earth story, and I've said this on Joe Rogan's podcast, until I see pictures of the earth from space, you don't know if it's flat or round. Nobody knows because there are no pictures of earth from space. They're all fake. So... And you know me,
I don't think there's satellites out there? You don't think there's any of that stuff?
There's no proof of it.
There's no proof of satellites?
You got to take someone's word for it. There are no pictures of satellite in space. No one's ever seen satellites in space. It's a scam. It's a money scam. Every time they launch one and they get a bill, it's just a bunch of people trying to get funding.
And that's where I felt you and Jones, a little bit butted heads right there.
Yeah.
Where
He spends so much time on shit that really matters. That's the shit that really matters. Like he spends time on politics and what all the scams going on in Washington D.C. and how we're being fucked. And he knows so much about it. And he proved it on Joe Rogan's podcast. Joe kept calling him on the shit he was saying. Boom, evidence. Jamie threw it up. He backed up everything he said on Joe Rogan's podcast. There's no denying that. If you're denying that, you're either a shill or there's something wrong with your brain because he proved everything he said.
It fractures everything you
But it
believe
doesn't
in.
mean he knows everything.
No.
And he doesn't spend that much time he doesn't really think about.
You can't crack every case.
You can't. And he doesn't spend, I know him. He doesn't really look into space. And the shit that we were talking about, were, it was all about the whole Buzz Aldrin thing. And me, I'm obsessed. For the last 15 years when Joe was all into it, even when Joe was all into it, I'm obsessed with how they got the world to think that we really went to the moon. Nobody went to the fucking moon. It was totally faked. And even Alex Jones admitted it was fake. So if Alex, and to me, Buzz Aldrin, he was part of the fakery. And you see him now on Instagram. He's so like, like Neil Armstrong, at least he had a conscience. He fucking went into hiding, never gave any interviews, they didn't know where the fuck he was. But Buzz Aldrin, he's fucking loving it with his NASA sweaters and Apollo this and it makes me fucking sick. Dude, you understand?
Have you seen this video?
So hold on. So when me and Jones were headbutting a little bit, and I regret it. I should have just fucking kept. But it's hard for me just to sit there when he's talking about what I think about Buzz Aldrin, what I think about NASA, what I think about the moon landings, all this shit from the last 15 years, and then Alex Jones, there's, he's like a hero of mine. You know what I mean? When it comes to politics,
weren't there.
and then he was.
It would have been weird, Eddie. I
when
gotta
he
be
brought
honest
it,
with you.
when he's telling me the craziest goddamn shit about this fucking thing on the moon of Mars, and
Joe
he's,
looked
and
it
he's
up,
telling
it's
me,
there.
but he's telling me, yeah, there's like those pictures don't prove shit. NASA puts out fake pictures all the time, and then he's talking about Buzz Aldrin gave him the secrets. I could not hold that in. I should have. I should have been nicer, but I couldn't. At that point, I'm like, okay, all the shit about Trump, Obama, the Democratic Party, all that shit, I believe that shit. But, man, you're talking about Buzz Aldrin, you know what I mean? Telling you the secrets of the fucking universe. I had to say something. I couldn't just let that go because that's all bullshit.
Dude, have you seen this?
And he even admitted the shit that the moon landing that the world got to see was fake. Buzz Aldrin was part of it. So he's part of the biggest conspiracy theory ever, the biggest lie ever. And you're going to believe him when he whispers in your ear and tells you some shit? Dude, that's all disinfo. To me, I'm like, oh, look at they're fucking with Alex Jones. They got fucking Buzz Aldrin's fucking with Alex Jones. That I'm trying to help him, and it came out mean on the podcast.
Yes.
And if you don't really if you haven't looked into the moon landings and the fakery that went on, Alex Jones admitted it was fake. He said there was a real moon landing that we didn't get to see, but that was a secret one. We don't know that happened.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is he admitted. We agreed that what we saw was fake. Everything was fake. The video, the pictures. So Buzz Aldrin was part of the fakery because he's in the videos, he's in the pictures. Supposedly took some of the pictures. And you're going to believe anything he fucking says? I don't believe one fucking word that guy says.
Yeah.
That guy's part of the problem. So I had to say something about Buzz Aldrin.
No,
I had
it's
to.
fine.
I had to. Yeah. Look at his Instagram. He should have been like Neil Armstrong and just disappeared and fucking felt guilty for the life. But no, not him. Not Buzz and a couple of the other astronauts. They fucking got their Apollo sweatshirts on. They're taking pictures, at NASA and like all this bullshit.
Have you seen this video?
Yes, the fake space shuttle explosion.
What do you think about that?
It's all about those pictures that they use. It's all explain this.
Is it too late to put the videos up there on the screen? Okay. Basically, when he gets this done, we're gonna do this. I want everybody to see this shit. We're not gonna watch the whole video.
In 1986,
do you remember where you
were? The
were?
space shuttle. I remember exactly where I was. I was in 10th grade. I was in geometry class. I remember the teacher. I remember her face and her big bug-out eyes, but I just forget her name. But I was in geometry, and over the loudspeaker, they announced that the space shuttle blew up when it took off, and that 7 people died. Teachers and stuff like that. That went along. And I'll never forget that. That was like 9/11.
Where I was.
I know where I was in 9/11 when I found that out.
I know
remember
where I
exactly.
was there too, and I know where I was when this happened because some kids in my class were laughing, and my teacher went nuts. He's like, "You guys think you're laughing at this shit?" And he like really guilted us pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play a little of this because it blew my fucking skull.
So supposedly 7 people died when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded at takeoff. Like, I think
Yes.
it got up maybe, 100,000 feet. I'm not sure, but it blew up and then everyone died. It was super tragic. It was like a mini 9/11.
Yeah, oh, dude,
7
it was
people died.
huge
It
at
was
that
huge,
point.
right? But now if you go on the internet, and this could be fake.
This
I don't
could
know.
be fake.
Because it's all about, they could easily Photoshop the pictures, I guess. But very interesting. I wouldn't doubt it if it's real.
I wouldn't
doubt
doubt
it.
it either. They're just things you're like, this is crazy. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, here's how it goes. This is so interesting. How come it's not working? Oh, come on, man. Oh, volume. Hold on, let me find another one. It's so good, though, dude. Let me find another one. Here we go. We'll do this one. Let's see if this one works. How come it's not working? Unbelievable.
There we go. The flat earth right there. Go flat earth. Go flat earth.
I'm gonna do this one. Here we go.
Well, I thought we better have a look at the space shuttle Disaster.
I don't like that guy.
Disaster.
I don't know why it's just not playing. All right, I tried. But basically,
Play the other one. Play the other one.
all right, let me see this.
That guy, there's nothing wrong with that guy.
There's nothing wrong with that guy. So basically, shuttle. This whole video says the space shuttle disaster is fake, and that it wasn't real, and that these people are still alive.
Yeah, that it exploded, but there was actually nobody in the space shuttle. They just, for some reason or other, they needed that tragedy to happen.
And what do you think?
And nobody actually died. It was just a false flag of some sort.
Yeah, and like, what do they get out of that? Gets people more energized, more excited about it? I mean, what is that?
Makes space more dangerous. Like, I don't know.
God, I don't know why none of these fucking work.
It makes people not want to go into space. They want to control it. They don't want private people going into space, or, you know, there's always like some billionaire that thinks like, okay, I'm going to use all my money to go to Mars. I'm going to build a plane. That shit never happens.
Oh, here we go. Space shuttle. Disaster
Hoax.
is fake. Okay, let's see if we can find this bad boy. Boom.
Valentine's
Oh,
Day
here
is
we go.
almost here.
Guys, Valentine's Day is almost here.
Shit.
Take your lady.
When is it?
Video from Russian vids. People have got differing views on this guy, but he's been making videos exposing NASA for all the lies that they've told us. Everything we were told.
Oh, this fucking thing.
Breaking news. They're alive. The Challenger space shuttle crew safe and employed. The members of the 1986 space shuttle Challenger still alive some 30 years later.
Yep.
The space shuttle Challenger explodes shortly after lifting off from Kennedy Space Center in this January 28, 1986 photo. All 7 crew members died in the explosion, which was blamed on faulty O-rings in the shuttle's booster rockets. The disaster shattered NASA's image and the belief that flying on a spacecraft could become as routine as flying on an airplane.
Yes.
That's
Most of us
it.
watching this live on television that day were devastated by this accident. The accident happened 73 seconds into the flight when it broke apart. 17% of Americans were witnessing the launch live because of the presence of payload specialist Krista McAuliffe, who would have been the first teacher in space. Some experts believe most, if not all, of the crew were alive and possibly conscious during the entire descent until impact with the ocean. The remains of all 7 astronauts from the Challenger disaster were discovered in the crew decks on the ocean floor. Gregory Jarvis's remains were discovered in the lower mid-deck along with fellow astronaut Ronald McNair and schoolteacher Krista McAuliffe. And during the salvage operations to raise the crew deck from the ocean floor, Jarvis's body escaped from the wreckage floating to the his body was rediscovered and returned to shore.
So basically what's going on here is they're showing images of some of the astronauts who are alive now.
All of them except one.
All of them except for one. And it's very interesting because 2 of the astronauts, they say the image is their identical brother.
Identical twin. That's my twin.
Identical twin brother.
And some of them they're using their middle names, and a couple just use their real name, and they're professors at one of these Ivy League colleges.
Now this woman, Krista McAuliffe, she was the teacher. They actually say she's now Sharon McAuliffe, who, because Krista was her nickname or her middle name she used when she flew out, and her real name is Sharon McAuliffe. McAuliffe, and she actually teaches at Syracuse Law. And that this guy goes by his same name. He didn't even change his name. Michael J. Smith, right, who was a Challenger pilot, they say he's a professor at Emirates and the University of, I think, Western Michigan. He goes by the exact same name. Michael J. Smith. And look at him. It's the exact same dude. It's like, I mean, you could technically have photoshopped that.
Yeah.
You can age that.
I need to see more pictures. And even those pictures could be Photoshopped. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to take a picture of someone when they were young and make them look old in Photoshop. I don't know how hard that is.
It was so interesting listening to Alex Jones talk about how there was a dark secret shuttle program that was a facade that was using the normal space shuttle program as a facade to cover up what was really going on, which was that we had already people in space. Mm-hmm. It's almost like answering a conspiracy with a conspiracy. Like we were actually way farther along. His whole thing is that the government is 50 years ahead of us in terms of technology. Like what they have going on right now is so crazy. We're done with this. We'll take it off. Which is so crazy. Oh yeah, then this guy, it's so fucking weird, right? And then her.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if this is just a hoax in itself, like it's some creative Photoshop guy put it together. Because it's always the same pictures of them when they're older. It's always any video you pull up or anything. I need to see more pictures, and even that wouldn't prove it. But at the same time, even if that's a hoax and it's to fool conspiracy theorists, they still faked 6 missions to the moon. They still did that. So it's like that hoax video that someone made he played a trick on conspiracy theorists about Tower 7. He made a video and added some special effects like some bomb. You could see bombs going out and blowing out windows. And he made a video saying, listen, proof that bombs are going off. Look, here's the video, an angle rarely seen. And then he did some special effects with bombs, and then conspiracy theorists jumped on it and said, look, the proof, there's bombs going off. And then the guy comes out and said, I fooled you. It still does. How, like, it's like fooling, like let's say there was this chick who, total whorebag.
Right.
She fucked every UFC fighter.
We love
her.
her.
Right? She's banging everybody. She's banging
Good
fucking.
for her.
And you know her. And
Yeah.
she's a UFC groupie fucking all these fighters, right?
Yes.
And then someone said, hey, dude, you know she fucked Rampage too. And you're like, damn, she did. And goes, yeah. You would believe her, right? You wouldn't even need proof, right?
Right.
But what if he was lying? And she didn't fuck Rampage. Does that mean that she's not a hoe?
Yeah.
She's still a hoe.
Right.
How easy is it it's so easy to fool. It's like you told me some hoe fucked some dude that she actually didn't. Like, that's not a hard trick. Tower 7 was blown up. Ruined. It's simple. So it didn't prove, just because he fooled conspiracy theorists with that video, the tower still dropped at free fall speed. It doesn't change shit.
Yes. Why did they blow that building up?
Exactly.
What was going on over there?
Exactly. They
I
needed it down. I think there was going to be a third. Either one. I think there's supposed to be another plane to hit it. The planes were just to make it look like that's why they went down. All 3 buildings were detonated. But as long as planes hit it, you can always say planes did it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's completely what it is. I think now, Obama got in trouble the other day. Before he went out, he signed a bill that people thought was going to be for the government to censor fake news and shut down fake news, shut down websites that put out fake news. And people thought it was censorship, but what they didn't realize was it was actually a bill he signed, which allows the government to create propaganda and allow them to put out misinformation legally now.
Yeah, I mean the people
Which is
at the
hilarious that they need a bill because they were already doing that. But now I believe what's going to happen is since they can't control it, they're going to flood it with as much different info so you have no clue what's going on. So it's going to be so much white noise that nobody's going to be listening, that you're only going to tune in like CNN, MSNBC, or Fox News because that's the only thing that isn't so chaotic you don't know what's going on.
What do you think about the possibilities that Trump could have was what the globalists wanted, and all the WikiLeaks emails were actually fake, and they wanted Trump in the whole time, and we've all been fooled. Like the conspiracy theorists have
The only
been
problem I have with
double-crossed.
that is that at no point, if it's like I said before, I think I might have said to you, if I photoshopped a bunch of pictures of you with black dicks all around you and I put it out and I go, Eddie Bravo loves black dicks, wouldn't you be like, no, that's not a real picture. Where'd you get that thing? When the emails came out, their first response was Russian hackers, that the Russians hacked our emails.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they weren't real. So I do think they are. The emails, for the most part, are real, and I think that's the only thing at this point, whether Julian Assange is still running that account or not.
Yeah, but if that was the plan, what if I don't think it is. This is just me getting crazy.
Right,
I don't
you're
think
allowed.
this is it.
You're
It's either that the people snatched victory from the jaws of defeat from the globalists, with Trump winning, with InfoWars being a big part of it. Either we stopped them. It was so close. Holy shit. And it's an amazing, beautiful thing. And Trump is he's a businessman. He likes pussy, but he's trying to get the country back in shape. Either it's that, or the globalist overall plan was to get Trump in and to get us conspiracy theorists. And the emails were faked. And the only reason they didn't say, oh, look, these emails are fake, is because I would have blown the double cross.
Right.
Like, why bring up that they're fake? Of course, like, I don't know, this is just me getting crazy. Because really,
You're
they're
allowed.
just, how easy is it to fake? Like, when you see like a snapshot of an email, one of these WikiLeaks emails with all the crazy pedophile shit, isn't it just font? Like, based on you're watching a YouTube video, but no one's bringing that up. That kind of scares me that no one's bringing it
Well,
up.
I also think that, during the whole Russian hooker pissing thing that came out that everyone just ran with, that Trump likes to get peed on by hookers or watch hookers pee, that when it came out, everyone's like, that font, that paper, that email, everything about that isn't real.
Oh, they did.
That's what they were saying about that. Whereas in the WikiLeaks, there was like, no, this is real, this is real. I'm not saying it's all, it's like, dude,
Hey,
that's
I'm
why
I'm
like,
hoping.
what's real?
This is, yeah.
What's real, what's
But
not real?
even if we did get double crossed, what if we did? Because we sort of got double crossed with Obama. If you remember,
We
a lot of motherfuckers.
100%.
Yeah, we thought, oh shit, this is the real deal. I remember, I'll never forget Rogan. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, fuck this guy. This is just a trick. This is a trick. Come on, they're throwing in the black guy right now. This is a trick to calm us down. You throw a black guy in, and it's like, shit. You know what? Change
There's
is happening. Fuck yeah.
That the Cheney and Bush were so bad
Yeah.
that they knew people were so over them.
They had him in the side pocket, ready to go. But I remember Joe going, dude, I think he's the real deal, dude. He's gonna fucking legalize weed. And we're like, fucking, the whole weed movement was behind Obama, which is, most of the weed movement are conspiracy theorists, because we know the whole weed conspiracy theory. That's a huge
Right.
conspiracy theory.
Right.
And that's a real one right there, weed. So
And the big farm is against it. The government's trying to control it. They're trying to tax it, or
well, what happened in 1937 when it became illegal?
what?
Weed.
But
Like
what
the
happened?
whole reefer madness propaganda, newspapers running fake stories, movies where people would smoke weed and kill people. They made silent movies. It took a while. It took a few years. There was like 10 years or something of propaganda. They had to get people scared of this weed. And then once they threw in, you go, you know what? They're not that scared. We need to fucking maybe we tell them that it makes white people fuck black people and Mexicans. Fuck yeah, let's run with that. Let's run with that. So as soon as they brought that shit up, those congressmen were like, fuck yeah, it's illegal.
We don't want our daughters
Yeah.
fucking those
Yeah.
black guys.
They didn't know. They thought they were outlawing. They were convinced that they were outlawing a drug. They didn't know they were outlawing hemp for industrial purposes as well. They didn't
Do you
even
think
really.
there was bigger forces at work in terms of people who's in their best interest?
We got to stomp this out.
We got to stop out because we can't tax it, control it.
Yeah,
But what people don't realize, it's like, look at beer, right? You can make your own beer.
yeah,
But who's going to do that when you walk down and buy a 6-pack for $8?
Yeah.
It's like, that's what's going to happen with weed.
Yeah.
I could grow my own weed, or I can go down to this Green Cross place and buy weed for $20, $30, $40, whatever it's going for. I get mine for free.
Yeah.
But whatever it is.
After a generation or two, yeah, people will stop growing it.
Yeah,
It'll be
they'll be
like
like,
something
"Ah."
that my grandpa used to grow weed when he
Yeah.
was a kid.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, but It's
But they don't realize, like, we're late. We'll take the easiest way out.
Yeah.
Whatever's easiest, we're going to do. And that's what's going to happen with weed. It's going to get industrialized. You're going to tax the fuck out of it. And it's
They're gonna make little weed cheap cigarettes.
Yep.
That are like 25 cents each.
Yeah.
Then why get the good weed?
And
then they
weed
mix.
also makes you question shit. You get high and you start thinking on weird shit. You go deep into stuff. And I think that scares them too.
I don't think originally I think the whole reason was the industrial uses. I don't think they really cared about. I don't think they even knew that. I don't think like the white dudes of that time. I don't think they even
I don't
knew
know, man.
the white people.
We like
that
to think we came up with all this shit. Like, I always do jokes about eating ass, It's just like, we didn't invent eating ass. Your grandparents were eating ass. They were eating ass way back in the day. We didn't invent that shit. They were all getting fucking weird. It's just like you couldn't be open about how weird the shit you used to be. Now you can be yourself and be who you are. You can be like, I like this, I like that. But we didn't invent that ever. The first thing they did, the first time they invented a camera, it's like some dude asked some chick to get naked so he could take a picture of it. It's just like, that's how it goes. So I think they knew a lot of things. Now, cocaine, I think they made it illegal because that was the beginning of the war on drugs. And that was the beginning of, we can start locking people up for this shit.
And it creates a black market, which they control, which is perfect.
You
They
think
can create a business like, shit, let's make this illegal, and we can just sell it under the table. They're the ones bringing it in.
Oh, yeah, dude, they keep getting busted over and like, I love that they talked about that on the podcast, was that, not everybody in CIA is evil, but there are other dudes who are like, I can make some shitload of money on the side. I'll fly this in, fly this out, and then shit crashes, and then you're like, CIA plane crashes with like 100 tons of cocaine,
Yeah.
You're
and
fuck.
you also got to think, too, no CIA agents are getting thrown in jail for drug trafficking.
None.
So is it just one or two cowboys that are doing it? You know what I mean?
Well,
if it was one or two cowboys, they'd get busted.
Well-
It seems like the people that are running shit, are the people at the top are doing it. Maybe the people low level aren't doing it. Maybe the low level CIA guys are like, we're gonna fucking fight communism, and they bought into that. Maybe they're good people. They probably are. But at the high level, for the CIA to be getting away with all the shit they're doing, man.
It's like Chomsky said, you don't move up in the media and all that stuff unless you show an ability to play ball.
Yeah.
You have to play ball. Like Rachel Maddow, at a very young age, showed us she could play ball. And she was the perfect person to put on MSNBC. A gorgeous lesbian that everybody was a Rhodes Scholar. I don't know how she's a Rhodes Scholar. No disrespect, but I watch her on Bill Maher's show all the time. She gets her ass handed to her constantly, but she's the perfect mouthpiece for what they want because she plays to that base and she plays ball. So, like, when I go back to the Benghazi guy, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that guy's career because he was really calling out Hillary and all the bullshit and asking, like, what's really going on here? Because that guy asked for backup all the time and they never sent it. And Bill Maher's like, oh, she's checking every email. It's like, dude, he's right there in the middle of shit. He's right there in the middle of a war. ISIS came rolling through and killed the fucking guy, and nobody sent backup. And why didn't they send backup? And like, why? People are like, oh, it's about emails. I think it's more about Huma and her fucking, Hillary's assistant, dude, who has fucking relatives very high up in the Muslim Brotherhood, and there are guys. And you hear, Alex Jones talked about it, there are CIA, FBI guys that aren't down with this New World Order bullshit and aren't playing ball and actually do love their country and actually see a threat. And that's why they went fucking nuts when they found all those emails on Anthony Weiner's fucking computer, which it wasn't. It was Huma's computer, and fucking people flipped out because that is one step to the Saudis. To those emails, all those classifieds being off to the Saudis, man. Have you seen Huma since? Have you seen that chick anywhere since the scandal broke out?
Nope.
Not once, bro. She is dialed in, and that's why people... Now, you want to go, how deep is it? You send a woman whose family is very high up in the Saudi Arabian, the Muslim Brotherhood. You said to her, who's the best person for her to hook up with and shag with and marry? A fucking sex-addicted Jew. Think about that, dude. What a great way to do a cover-up then the exact opposite of what, yeah, she can't hate fucking America. She can't hate Israel. She's married to a sex addict Jew. Boom! Awesome cover up. And she's one step away from all that crazy shit. All the people who funded 9/11. I know it sounds like I went way deep on some shit, but it's really true. When they found those emails on his computer, they flipped the fuck out. And she was never seen from since.
Now you know why I don't trust shit coming from the mainstream media.
I don't trust anything.
I don't trust it. So I know we got to leave pretty soon.
We
but
leave in like 10. Is that cool? We don't. I mean, unless you got.
I'm gonna leave you with like the super high level conspiracy theories.
Okay,
right?
let's hear it.
You know, there's the flat Earth and space.
Yes.
Satellites don't exist.
Yes.
And gravity isn't real.
Gravity's not real.
Well, think about this is the conspiracy theory. I don't know what's real or not. I'm not a physicist or anything, but if you think about shit like this. When it comes to space, we're going to space and then gravity. Space, nuclear bombs, gravity. All right? Real quick. Real quick. I don't know what I believe. All I know is I don't believe shit coming. Everything is corrupted. Education, history, everything. Anything on the mainstream media, newspapers, books. Read a book. Yeah, write a book, motherfucker. Try doing that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so when it comes to space, when flat Earth, I thought, like, when I first heard that, I go, that is the dumbest shit. I remember Joe going, dude, there's people that think the world is flat. He was using that he was trying to explain how dumb people are, and I thought, what? Because there's people that think the sun is 3,000 miles away. I'm like, what? I remember hearing that a few years ago.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and then I'm like, that's got to be some kind of CIA distraction. That's what I thought. And then on Joe Rogan's podcast, it got brought up again, like flat Earth. I'm like, are we really talking about that? It's got to be a CIA kind of cover up. I mean, people believe in Scientology, so I guess they'll believe in anything. So then months go by, and then one of my students comes up and goes, have you ever looked into the flat Earth? I'm like, dude. would you
That's the
stop with
ultimate,
that?
like, oh,
I'm like, dude.
you're a little crazy right there.
That's got to be some kind of CIA psyop. And then he's like, okay, what do you got to look? You should look into it. And I'm like, whatever. So then another student comes up to me and says, you ever look into this flat Earth? I go, fuck, dude. Please. I'm talking about Tower 7. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about no goddamn. I'm talking about moon hoax. I was really into the moon hoax, but flat Earth, give me a goddamn break. And then he goes to me, listen, man, I got my master's in engineering. Trust me. Look into that flat Earth. I go, dude. And then I got his number. I go, listen, I'm going to prove to you tonight. So I became the skeptic. I was the anti-conspiracy theory.
Right.
So I went home that night after
Yes.
class, and I go, all you need is a picture, one of those pictures from space, Earth from space. So I punched it in, Earth from space. And every picture was CGI. And they'll tell you, NASA will tell you that. They'll say, because of the way we take the pictures from the satellites, we got to put them in strips, and then we line it all up, and then we have an artist put together his rendition. I go, wait a minute. And then it turns out, I used to be a fucking space fanatic, man. Me and Joe would get high, and we'd watch documentary after documentary of space, the fucking universe, 12 set edition DVD, all these neutron stars, hyper supernovas, all this shit. Man, I thought I was watching some educational shit. I'd put that on over and over and over, space documentaries. Joe's got fucking 150 of them. And every now and then I'd watch them, and I go, it is kind of weird how this is all cartoons, but okay, whatever. And then I wouldn't think about it. And 10 DVDs later, I'm like, there's no real footage. It's all cartoons. But somebody figured it out. This is the way it's supposed to look. Somehow they figured out these are how galaxies look, spiral galaxies. Somehow they figured out that galaxy is 150,000 light years away from that galaxy. Some scientist figured it out. I'm just going along with it, listening to the narration and these documentaries, like learning like everything that's said in those documentaries. I'm like, fuck yeah, okay, I gotta remember that. 33 million miles, okay, cool. The sun is 93 million miles away. I'm like memorizing the shit. But then when I try to disprove flat Earth, and every flat Earth guy, there's a reason why it's fucking huge, dude, because every flat Earth guy is like out to prove that it's not real, and all you find is CGI. And then I thought, Well, NASA, everything, all the knowledge we're getting from space is coming from NASA. They faked fucking moon landings. Wait a minute. And then you start looking into and like, where's the real footage of this shit? Space shuttle hoax. And then I start doing some investigating, and I found out that in the 50s we didn't even know what we were on. In the 50s, it was still a theory. We were still like, there's no proof that the Earth is even spinning, because mainstream science will tell you that the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, and then we're going like 60,000 miles an hour around the sun, and then the sun is going like a fucking 500,000 miles around the galaxy, and every star you see is doing the same thing, right? Like, what? And the moon's we only see one side of the moon. What? How everyone's spinning, but we see the same shit. We see the Orion's belt, like you see the North Star, and everything's spinning around the North Star. Goes, wait a minute, what's on the other side of the sun? And then you start, and then in the 50s, we didn't know what we were on. In the 50s, we didn't know we were on. We weren't high enough. That's when we started going high. And the guy who went the highest first, he went 50,000 feet. In the air, in a balloon, in like a little mini submarine. His name is Auguste Piccard. Look him up.
He's in that commercial. Have you seen that commercial?
Exactly. Look into the real shit. Look into the real shit. He goes 50,000 feet. The highest ever commercial planes go 30,000 feet. He went 50,000 feet, and he said, unless this is bullshit, I mean, according to the shit that I read, he said the Earth appears to be a flat plane with upturned edges. Whatever the fuck that means. He comes down. NASA's formed. They lock up space. Space is government now. And we're going to tell you what's up. We're going to tell you what's up with space. So, like, what are these stars? I don't know what stars are, but you know what? When you look through a high-powered telescope, they're just like lights and shit. And then how do you get the star's made of this? If it's a red light, it's made of this. Like, there's a bunch of fucking lights. Look through you can go on YouTube and look at what high-powered telescopes are looking at when they look at the stars.
So like, you believe the Earth is flat?
Well, I don't know. No, I don't know. All I'm saying is shit. I don't believe shit from NASA. I don't know. Show me a picture.
What happens at the edges? That's the only thing that
No. Okay. This is what they believe, right? It's flat like this. There's an ice wall around it. The North Pole is the middle, and the sun and the moon go around like this. So when the sun's over here, it's dark over here because it's so far away.
Hold on.
It never sinks.
It's not a universe. It's like literally the sun goes around the Earth.
Yes. The stars, everything revolve around Earth. We are the center, just like all the ancients believed. We are the center of some special thing. And this is, now, if you look at the cosmic microwave background, there's a documentary called The Principle. It's on the Copernican principle, and the Copernican principle is the heliocentric model, which the Earth and the planets revolve around the sun. That's heliocentric. The sun's in the middle, right? And then we found out later, it's like, oh shit, we're going around a black hole or whatever. That's what they thought. But the geocentric model is everything revolves around us. Like we're a flat plane and everything's going around us. And in 2006, they took the cosmic microwave background. It's a picture of the universe. And the top astrophysicists, professors in MIT, they're like, damn, it looks like everything is rotating around us. Everyone thought it must have been some kind of fuck up in the picture or whatever. So for years, since 2006, they're like, oh man, like some people are going, dude, this fucking cosmic microwave background snapshot of the universe shows that the stars are going around us. We're the center. Most people thought, oh, that's bullshit. You can't say that. Like, you can't say that. The Bible was right? And then they did it again in 2013. They took it's a special snapshot, and the European Space Agency did it, not NASA. Same shit. They just want to control this. Well, anyways, so they came back, same fucking thing. 2013, 2014. European Space Agency, they said all these motherfucking stars are rotating around us. I don't know if that's true or not. But what I'm seeing, what I know is true, is there's a lot of debate going on about whether we're still not even sure if we're going. That's all a theory. And then you start looking into it like, this shit's us going around the sun is a theory? I thought I read it in science. It's another fucking hoodwink. It's another level of hoodwink. Like, who knows what we're on?
So hold on. That the theory is that there's a basically like we're in a let's look at it like this.
Like, look at it. Maybe we're on this giant. We're in a giant planet, and we're in a crater, and it's filled with water, and there's continents coming out, and that crater's wrapped up in with an ice wall. And so, if the North Pole is the middle, it's like we're looking it down. Everywhere you go south, you're gonna hit the South Pole, which is an ice wall, and the sun and the moon go around this way.
Oh my
Like the
God.
middle is the North Pole, and that's why when you have a compass, everything points to the North Pole. Like there's a magnetic pull to the North Pole, which would be the center on the flat Earth model. It would be the center. So the sun and the moon are going. They're according to flat earthers, the sun and the moon are like they're not even they're some kind of magnetic light bulbs. Like the moon is not reflecting light from the sun. It's its own source of light. There's no reflection going on. They've supposedly, this is what the flat earthers say. This is what they say. So anyways, I don't know. It's fascinating shit.
It
It's
is.
fascinating shit when you look into it. Look into it, dude. Look into the history of flat Earth by Eric Dubay. There's a lot of flat earthers that say that it could be disinfo.
I want
They
to get
sound like
somebody on here to talk about it with you.
Eric Dubay. That's the only guy. He's got it fucking down. The history of flat Earth. I'll send you a link. It'll fucking trip balls. Who knows if it's true? Who knows if it's real? I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is the shit that's coming from NASA. I don't buy that shit. They fake too many moon landings. Like, so I don't know. Maybe it's flat. Maybe it's round. Maybe it's both. Maybe we're on a gigantic round planet and we got up and we're like, oh shit. And there's all these craters with these Earths. And we're like, oh shit, on this one gigantic planet, we're just one of a bunch of Earths. So you go back down and like, damn, it's flat and round. We're in a crater. And if you look at the logo, the map logo of the UN is the map of the world. It's the flat Earth map. Why is it the flat Earth map? How come it's not the map you see at school where it's like you see North America, South America, and then Europe and Africa? You see that flat when it's like on a wall? But the UN doesn't use that one. The UN uses the flat where the North Pole is the center. So when you go to the North Pole, you're actually going to the center of this crater that we're in.
Dude. Aaron, thoughts?
And here's another thing too about perception. You know, if you're standing on the middle of the street,
Yes.
and along the street, for blocks, there's these light poles. They're all the same height. Right?
Yes.
Artists need to know this. This is the law of perception. As you look down the street, each light pole gets lower and lower, right?
Right.
And it comes in.
Yeah.
And the street goes up, and the ceiling would go down. If we were in a hallway, the ceiling, if you looked all the way, a long-ass hallway in Vegas, a long one, the walls would come in like this
Yeah.
until the vanishing point, and the ceiling goes down, and what it is your perception. Your eyes, everything comes into your vision. So if you go up 30,000 feet in the air on a plane, the horizon rises to eye level no matter where you're at. You're going to trip out on the law of perception. No matter where you're at, the horizon will always meet your eyes, meet the camera. It's fucking freaky. So when you're looking at down a hallway, everything converges, right? That's how artists. It's the law of perception. So when you're standing outside and you're looking at the sky, and it appears that the clouds just come right down, and we're like in a dome. It appears that like it's really close. But then when you're on a plane and you go above the cloud line, now it's the horizon, the clouds go up, and it's like, dude, way further than when you go down. It looks like just right there, we're in a dome and the clouds go down. If it's all cloudy, it looks like we're in a dome. It doesn't look like that. It's the law of perception. The clouds are coming down because they're so far away. So if we are in a flat plane, let's just say we are in a flat plane and it's true, and the sun was like whatever height, and the further it goes away, eventually it's going to disappear. Not because it went down, is eventually it hits your eye level,
Right.
and then it disappears.
Right.
People think, well, when you look at a boat and you're standing on the beach, you look at a boat and it starts to disappear, and then the last thing you see is the mast or whatever, and it seems to be going over the horizon. That's all the law of perception. It's already proven. You can look at it on YouTube. You put a zoom lens on it, and the whole thing appears again. It didn't sink. If it sank, a telescope or a zoom lens wouldn't matter. It would go over the horizon.
No, I get what you're saying.
It's not going over the horizon.
So
the
if
boat
I
never.
put out a telescope,
It's
gets
right there.
closer.
Yes.
But it doesn't go down.
It's not going down.
It's very
It's not.
interesting.
It's the law of perception, man.
Aaron,
look into
did
it.
we just blow your mind?
I don't know if it's flat. And then you look at nuclear fucking bombs, dude.
Okay.
Have you ever seen
what?
Have you ever seen a nuclear bomb?
No.
We just gotta take someone's word for it, right? When you look at the race to build a nuclear bomb, it's just like the race to take a man to the moon. They've put all this money in it
What
for
about
years, for years.
Hiroshima?
People live there right away afterwards. How do you know if it's a nuclear bomb? Or it looks just like Tokyo. They firebombed it. They had to say it was a nuclear bomb. This is the conspiracy theory.
Oh my God!
It's not a
what?
nuclear bomb. It's just a regular bomb. They were just firebombed 18 cities in Korea. People immediately started rebuilding in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There's not like some,
Not like just scorcher devastation.
yeah, like radioactive.
Yeah, right.
People have grown 5 arms and shit. None of that happened. Nobody knows the difference between what a nuclear bomb looks like, but the fear that we have it, ooh, the power, the fear. Everyone's always trying to build one.
Oh, my
Iran's
God.
Iran's trying to build one. A reason to go in and stop it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Chernobyl,
Yes.
there's an explosion at a nuclear power plant. There's explosions in coal plants, and they kill people. But what happens in a nuclear power plant, since when that explodes, we got to shut down the city to make the bombs look dangerous. Because they don't need to, apparently, according to conspiracy theory, there's no reason to shut down Chernobyl. People can live there. But they sacrifice the city to terrify people. Because then now they could spend money on bombs. All the money comes in. Nuclear bombs. Everyone's trying to build a nuclear bomb, but they can't figure it out. Oh, Libya's trying to build but they can't figure it out. Nobody can figure it out. We figured it out. Why are people still living in Nagasaki and Hiroshima? We don't know if it's real.
Dude.
We don't know if it's real. But you know what? There was a race to split the atom. If they could just split the atom, can you imagine the bomb? They had the Manhattan Project. There are thousands of scientists. There's like spending all this money. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to build it. We're going to build it. Like, we can't fucking do it. Let's just bomb them with regular shit. How would we know if it was a nuclear? We didn't drop any bombs and nuclear bombs in Korea. We didn't drop any nuclear bombs in Vietnam. Where's all these nuclear bombs? We didn't drop them. We're not
just
dropping
like
them
the
anyway.
Space shuttle, we did it once. Right?
did
We
what?
did. We went to the moon once, right? How many
No, like
times?
6 times. They
we went-
faked it 6 times, man. You know how much money each time, man? Each money probably meant, $30 billion at least.
For Shadow
Oh,
Project.
shit. Yes, or for whatever.
Damn.
I don't know. Nuclear bombs may exist, but it's something I've never seen. I can't prove it.
I'll look into that.
So it's something that Eric Dubé, too, he'll look into that.
Eric
it's something,
Dubé?
nuclear bombs and space, they're things that we have to take government scientists' word for. Freemason scientists' word for. Eric Dubé, just look at anything Eric Dubé. He breaks shit off. I don't know if the earth is flat. I don't know, but I don't know what we're on. Who knows?
Dude,
Who
that's
knows what
right.
we're on? And it doesn't matter. Like, that shit doesn't matter. What really matters is what Trump's going to do. That's what really matters. All the flat earth.
Do you think they're trying
and
to discredit him so he can't get anything done?
Fuck yeah. They still got the media. They got the power of the media, so they're going
I
full
think they
blown.
overshot themselves. I think that they went, and we're going to wrap it up here, Aaron. I know you got to go home to your lady and make love. I think they overshot themselves, and they dumped so much so quickly that people are going to get fatigued of it, and they're just not going to care. And then then if they are trying to describe him, they totally fuck themselves. They're actually going to make him look like a sympathetic figure. I don't think Trump is like this white knight in shining armor. I love my dad to death, but I wouldn't want him to be president. And my dad's a good guy, but my dad would be the same, like, USA, America, and all that stuff. I'm not saying he's a bad dude. I think Hillary's a bad dude. I think she's not good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Trump is a good guy. I'm just saying let's not be like, just because Hillary was a bad guy, Trump's a good guy. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
but the fact that the establishment, the entire power structure, threw everything they had at Trump, and Trump still wins, I'm hoping this could be a double cross. But if it is a double cross, and maybe they wanted Trump in the whole time and they fooled us conspiracy theorists again, if they did that, it means that the power structure is stronger and the conspiracy theories are stronger than ever.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So deep.
Yeah, if they double-crossed everybody and they wanted Trump in to begin with and they just made up the whole pedophile ring and they go, dude, we're going to make up this whole pedophile ring. No one's going to get indicted, but they're probably laughing their asses
They're
off
coming,
going,
dude.
Oh, that's just me thinking smoking too much weed. That's just me
Yes.
smoking too much.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a double cross. I hope Trump is the real deal, and I hope we got the power back. That's
I'm
what I hope.
hoping too.
I hope.
Eddie
That's all.
Bravo, I love you. I'm
love
glad
you
you
too,
came
man.
on.
Thank
You're more than welcome all the time. We do this once a week, and I know you're super busy, but anytime you want to come on, talk smack. You were great. I know you don't think you should have been on that. You were perfect on JRE, 9/11.
I was annoying as fuck.
It wouldn't have been right if you weren't there.
Thank you.
You added it. You were, you're allowed to. I mean, Joe questioned him. You can question. That's what you do.
Yeah.
If you did a conspiracy theory podcast and you weren't there, it wouldn't feel right. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming on Tinfoil Hat. Guys, sorry about the space shuttle stuff. I know I'm going to get killed trying to find it. I didn't know 90 people made their own video of it, but I'll find it and I'll tweet it and you'll see it's crazy shit. And guys, any thoughts you have on the podcast, anybody you want on the podcast, hit me up. I love doing this podcast. It's only going to get bigger. And thanks for tuning in to Tinfoil Hat. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, if you want